Hello and welcome to the video tutorial on BMR Restore using NovaStor DataCenter software. Today we'll be creating a BMR Restore job to be able to restore one of our completed BMR backups to a virtual machine. In our case, it's a virtual machine hosted underneath VMware ESXi, and we're going to be mounting the required BMR boot media to that VM by attaching it as a ISO file, and then booting up the VM and telling it to boot to that ISO, and going through all of the prompts to be able to restore a BMR image to an existing computer that's already running. And so let's get started on that now. And from the Data Center GUI, you'll browse over to the Restore item here, and then find BMR Guide at the top. Click on that. And then underneath the nodes list, you're going to expand the list of nodes to be able to find the node that you want to restore your image to. We're going to pick that first item. And on the right side, you'll see the completed BMR backups, and it shows the date and time that they occurred. You can select one of the BMR entries, double click on it to restore it, or browse to the very bottom right, click Guide. We're going to double click the first item, and then you'll have instructions here on how to restore your bare metal recovery image. So the first item here is boot from the bare metal recovery CD or USB stick. That has to be created beforehand, and we do have a video linked in the description for how to create that BMR restore media. We're going to be switching over to a computer that already has the ISO file mounted as the boot media, and that's inside a virtualized VMware environment. So here's our list of hard drives and CDs where we have our ISO mounted as the BMR boot media there to the CD drive. We're going to power on that virtual machine and wait for it to load. And there's the initial screen that you'll see when you boot a computer to the BMR boot media. We're going to browse and drag and drop that over to the primary screen and see the options here. So it has manually configure the network adapter before starting recovery. We'll say no there. Load additional drivers, a yes or no. We're going to pick no since we don't need any additional RAID controller drivers. Now the backup ID entry is shown highlighted, and that ID will go ahead and enter the ID manually on the right side screen as it shows up on the left side. This is optional command line options. We're going to say skip there. Please enter data center device screen. That's highlighted here on the left side for what to put in for this BMR backup to be able to restore it. So we're going to type in the command as it's stated exactly, and go ahead and finish typing that in your case. And then we're hitting enter, and it's retrieving the list of volumes from the command server from our storage server where those BMRs were existing. And in a moment it's going to pull open the image itself, and there we go, there are the details for it. It says, do you wish to continue? And you'll have to type either yes or no there. We type yes, and it's restoring the selected volumes. So it's starting that BMR restore now, and you can see at the top the throughput and the data transfer. That status will continually update until it's actually completed the BMR restore. And so when done, you'll have a done status at the top there of that command prompt, and you'll be able to type Q to quit, and then exit out of the command prompt to stop that command. So at this point, you're booting up the computer in question. Don't need to press any key to continue because we just want to boot into the actual virtual machine as it was, restored, not to the boot disk. So it's continuing to boot Windows here, and this is our restored BMR system. And it did successfully boot and allowed to log into the desktop. So we know that virtual machine was restored from the BMR successfully.